Why do I always get so sometimes sad, sometimes really anxious, sometimes just borderline like nutty? And what I figure out that was, I know this is very, very simple or very blah, but it is the truth. Every time on my birthday, I would take time to really reevaluate what I have managed to achieve in my life up till now. And I realized that very often I will actually turn to the point of what I didn't succeed at. And that will really trigger me, and that will really make me very anxious and very upset with myself. And I started, thinking about all the things that I have set as goals and all the things that I wanted to achieve by this year, and kind of going through, oh, I'm 37, I should have done this by now. Oh, I'm 37, this should have happened by now. Oh, I'm 37, like, why are things not happening as fast as I want them to? And then again, I realized after having a conversation with my truly amazing, gorgeous husband, he said to me, and it's something that, I know myself, and it's something that I also teach to my clients, but it's quite, it is often quite good to hear someone else's opinion and to hear it from the outside, purely because, it's sometimes bad habits are difficult to break on your own, and they really are. And if you especially have, if it's a habit, and if it's something that, it keeps happening for a long period of time, then dealing on your own, it is very challenging. So my husband said to me, well, what if everything that you've, done up till now is simply leading you to a point of where things will start shifting for you in a different way, not in a way that you've expected. And I just thought, bloody hell, you know what? This is, I've done this. It's like, this is what I'm teaching my clients, and this is how I work with my clients. Why again am I getting in the same rut as before? And it is the truth. Sometimes we don't see the bigger picture. We don't see the reason why we experience what we experience. We don't see the reason why we all face these challenges, which is, the topic of today's talk, and how to overcome the challenges. And often it's simply taking a step back and reevaluating what has happened, maybe why it has happened, and sometimes that why might not even make sense to you. But here is the thing. Challenges in your life happen for a certain reason, and that reason might not make sense to you until sometimes much later on, and it could be something really difficult that you still want to see the logic behind it, and yet it's completely free of any logic. It's completely lacking any, normal explanation. And here is the reason why. It's because not everything that will happen in your life will be logically explained. Not everything that you will suffer in your life will have some, completely normal meaning behind it and normal explanation behind it. And what I have found is in my own experience and in my clients' challenges as well, is this is simply preparing you and getting you ready for what is to come ahead, and for what is that you probably will be doing one day in your life, and for what you might be helping other people to do one day in your life. I often quite feel like, well, why did I experience those things as a child? Why did I have to go through that, that it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. But here is the thing, and I've said this before, I wouldn't be here talking to you if I hadn't experienced what I have experienced. I wouldn't have grown so much as a person if I hadn't been through those challenges. And as cruel as it might, sometimes sound, and it might be really difficult to comprehend, because, it's completely normal to experience thoughts like that. Well, why? Like, no child should be going through an abuse. No, no one should be suffering without, any, not without, no one should be suffering non-stop. But the truth behind that is that it simply shapes you, and it simply helps you develop your own inner strength, and develop and it helps you develop you as a person, and it helps you create that life for you that you are about to experience. And I know it sounds very profound, and I know, it might sound really out there, but try to get rid of all the logic behind it, and try to really see what might be behind that. And in overcoming challenges that have happened in your life, one of the biggest thing is to allow yourself a huge deal of forgiveness for people who have showed up in your life and have been your testers, teachers, for people who one way or another have harmed you in a way, or people who have messed up your life in a way, or people who have hurt you in a way. And all I'm going to suggest you is actually, just open up your heart and really and truly be grateful for that experience. Give them your own blessing. Say thank you to them, and allow them to live your life in a way that's no longer harmful to you. Allow them to no longer have such a presence and influence in your life to the point where this has a control over your own emotions, of your own anger, and over your own negative experience. Let them free. Set them free. Because holding grudges against something like that, this was my biggest lesson for my 37th birthday. Holding grudges really, honestly, doesn't get you anywhere. And as much as you might think that sometimes other people are to blame for what had happened in your life. Like, I was attacked last year behind my flat. And I had experienced so much anger, so much frustration. I was frightened to go out on my own for days after that. I was constantly looking over my shoulder. I had changed routes. I started changing routes to where I was going, simply so I can avoid seeing all those people and avoid, meeting with them. And I realized that with the help of my own mentor at the time, who she's still in my life, she said to me, do you think that on one way or another, you kind of co-created this experience with those people? And it was a very, very unique experience for me, because the minute they showed up in my life, they showed up for a reason. They showed up for the reason because again, I wasn't allowing other people to help me. Again, I was going through a place of where I was pushing and striving and kicking in terms of yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to succeed. And they were simply the catalyst of what I was going through. And they showed up when I knew that I don't have to do this on my own, and I shouldn't be doing this on my own, that I have a gorgeous husband next to me who is supporting me in every way. I've got my family with me, and I've got my mentor with me, and that I don't have to, keep pushing and striving. And that keeping pushing and striving was coming from my masculine power within me that was, always wanted to do things on her own. And that's why they showed up, because it was kind of a thing well, you know what? Maybe it's time for you to let go. Maybe now it's time for you to allow other people to help you. Maybe it's time for you to show your feminine side a little bit more. And at that time, that didn't make sense to me. At that time, that was, a really, really horrible experience. But I realized, and I kept thinking all this anger in me was oh my gosh, if I see you, what am I going to do? And then I simply realized that I had, in fact, such a deep compassion for those guys. And it might sound crazy, but I honestly did, because I know that they're going through their own shit in their life. For them, for 4 guys to attack 1 woman, something's going on out there. And I don't know what it is. And for whatever reason, they chose to act the way that they acted. But the more I showed in myself compassion towards those guys, the more I freed myself from that kind of experience. Otherwise, I would have carried that burden and that heaviness on my shoulders for so long. And God knows, probably up till now. And the weird thing was that after that, after I released them, after I set them free, I no longer see them. I haven't seen them ever since. I have no idea what's happened to their life, and I truly hope that they have found the peace and support that they need to live their life without harming other people. So this is the true meaning of forgiveness, guys, and this is also linked to what I mentioned in my email that I sent out this morning. What is when how you should react when things get out when things are not in your control, when things happen in your life that is completely out of your control. And here is all those things are interlinked. Things show up in your life because there is certain change that needs to be made. Things show up in your life, people show up in your life to point you in the right direction, or sometimes simply to show you, what you're missing out on and what you should be concentrating more on. And, they're all catalysts, they're all steps for you to help you find your own true self, to help you find that true connection with yourself, to find what you're lacking in, to find what you need more support with, and to help you find, just simply another reason for you to do whatever it is that you want to do in your life. And, if it sounds out there to you, I'm that kind of person. My kind of thinking is not logical. My kind of thinking is based on, we're here to experience things in our life to make us better people. We're here to experience things in our life so we can support other people in their own struggles, because we're not alone. We are not, we don't just act as just one single person. Everything that happens in our life and around us is just simply a wave of creating different emotions, of creating different desires, and creating of lives for one another. And I choose to live my life that way, where I don't hold anger. And if I do hold anger, if I do experience those kind of emotions, because don't get me wrong, there is, I'm not here to say that you should not be experiencing any negative emotions. That's bullshit. Of course you're supposed to, because that's a sign that something needs to change. But rather than, staying stuck in those emotions, cry if you have to, scream if you have to, allow those emotions to come out of you, because the more you hold them within you, then the more they will take control over your life. Allow them out and let them be, and just simply let them go, and then free yourself from those kind of, from that kind of experience, and think about what you can learn from that experience and what is the lesson behind it and how you can use that in your life forward. So I hope, this was helpful, and I will be back here again. I'm popping in here for about 15 minutes every single day at 2:30 p.m. British Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, and 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So make sure that you tune in. I talk about, different subjects and everything that's linked to simply learning how to love yourself, and to simply, allow yourself to be who you are and to experience any kind of emotion, to help you overcome binge eating if that's one of your issues, but mainly to truly help you and support you to learn how to accept yourself and to love yourself more. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you again tomorrow. If you do have any particular topic or any support, anything that you need a little bit more support with, if you think that I'm the person that can help you with that, send me a DM. And I do offer 20 minutes completely free of any obligation strategy calls, where we dive deep into what is not working for you right now, and what do you want to happen in your life, and how, and I will help you create the steps that you need to take. And if you're not ready to talk, send me a DM and send me an email. My email is elena@eat/nutrition.com. Ask me any questions that you might have. So again, have a lovely rest of the day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.